कृष्ण पुण्य श्रवण कीर्तना हृदयंतस्तो हि अभद्राणि विदुनति सुरत्सताम् नष्ट प्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नष्ट की. Today we are going to summarize 32 chapter of this third canto. The title is Entanglement in Fruitive Activities. So I took note of try to summarize all the verses or mostly all the verses of this chapter. Please forgive me if I add my own interpretation while making note of these verses. ओम अज्ञानं तिम्रान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः. श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदं. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनभ्यो वैष्णवभ्यो नमो नमः. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद. हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे. So in the initial verses of this chapter, Prabhupada basically mentioned the two kinds of householders, Grahamedi and Grasta. So Grahamedi are the person or materialistic person whose objective is completely the sense enjoyment. Even they perform some religious ritual also, but the objective of performing these religious rituals is material benefit. Such kind of people, they do some charity also, but why did they do the charity? Because they want to go on the higher planet. So this kind of person or Grahamedis, they want to remain in this material world. They don't want to go get out of this cycle of birth and death. They want to remain here because what they are doing, maximum they want to elevate themselves on the higher planet. But these higher planets also falls under the this material creation. And for such kind of Grahamedis, Prahlad Maharaj says that they are chewing the chewed, which is already chewed. Means they are trying to enjoy in all, whatever lifetime they already passed, and still they want to do the same thing. So this kind of Grahamedis, they perform various kind of sacrifices and take great vows of austerity. Why? They want to satisfy the demigod or their forefather. Again, why? Because they want some material benefit out of this activity. So this kind of so-called pious and religious person also sometimes called the impersonalist. Why they call the impersonalist? Because they think that the Supreme Personality has no form and one can imagine any form, whatever one likes, and worship in that way. So in that way, they are denying the original form of Supreme Absolute Truth, and that's why they are also called impersonalist. They are also called calm mood. Prabhupada mentioned this word in this one of the verse, because they have lost their intelligence. And such kind of person, if they are performing all these religious rituals, doing charity, where they can go? They can go maximum on the moon planet, where they can drink this somras, and once their punya karmas are over, they have to again return back to this earthly planet. Even one goes to the highest planet, Brahmaloka, the problem remains same. Destruction is there. Every day of Brahma, there is a small pralay, small destruction where other than the Brahmaloka, all other planets got destroyed. And when Brahmaji is like 100-year-old, even the Brahmlok got destroyed. So no one can avoid this destruction. Even reaching the Brahmlok also it is there. But these Grahamedis, they don't have this information about that eternal blissful life, how it can be attained. They don't have any clue. The other category Prabhupada mentioned about Grasta. And what is their objective? Their objective is self-realization. The Grasta, basically the person who lives with family, wife, children, relatives, but with no attachment for them. Grastas are intelligent and their consciousness is very pure. And that's why they are completely satisfied while serving Krishna in Krishna consciousness. And that's why they called, Prabhupada mentioned the word here, Prashant. Prashant, and the opposite of Prashant is Ashant. So Grahamedis are Ashant because they have so many desire. They they put their all effort to get those desire fulfilled. But every time things, they cannot go in the way they want to go. So when they feel this odd situation, they become ashant, distressed. But devotee are never distressed. They are always fully satisfied while serving Krishna. That's why they call prashant. In other verse, in the same chapter, Prabhupada mentioned the cause of the material world. So what is the cause of this material world or material creation, or what is the cause of all the human being also? So we don't come from matter. Prabhupada made this point. So the combination of this material energy and Krishna's glance, this is basically the cause of material manifestation. And Prabhupada mentioned here the example, the combination of the father and mother is the cause of the birth of child. Similarly, Krishna is there, his glance over material energy, and this is how this material world manifests. Further, Prabhupada mentioned how devotee can enter into the kingdom of God. So those who are fully Krishna consciousness or a devotee, such kind of person can directly enter into the kingdom of God. But on the other hand, the yogis, when they are perfecting their yogic practice, and then they have to leave their body, material body, then what happens? Then they can enter into the body of Brahma. They will go into the Satyalok or Brahmalok. They will enter into the body of Brahma. And when Brahma leaves his body and goes to the spiritual world, then only they can go along. And as per their desire, for example, after having darshan of Paramatma in their heart, if they have the desire to serve Paramatma, then they will be placed into the Vaikuntha Loka and they will serve there. But they don't have this desire to serve the Lord, then they will go to the Brahma Jyoti. So even the perfect yogi don't have right directly go into the kingdom of God. He has to take the other route. He has to enter into the body of Brahma, and when Lord Brahma leaves his body, then only indirectly they can go. Further, Prabhupada mentioned the oneness in the relationship with the God. So the oneness of the Mayavadi philosophers and the oneness of Vaishnava philosophers, there is a difference. So Mayavadi and Vaishnava philosopher both want to merge into the Supreme Lord, but the Vaishnava, the difference is that Vaishnava, they don't want to lose their identity. They want to keep their identity as a lover, a parent, or friend, or dasyam, servant mood. They want to serve basically. Further, Prabhupada mentioned about the elevating principle in this chapter. There are four elevating principles: religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation. So this materialistic person, they are interested in religiosity, economic development, and sense gratification only. They will do some religious ritual They will get some material benefit or economic benefit out of that, and then they will do the sense gratification. They don't think about liberation. And that's why such Grahamedis or materialistic person are never attracted by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Why? Because they don't think about liberation. They just limit it till third elevating principle, that is sense gratification. Further, Prabhupada mentioned in the verses that the addiction of hearing, we all have addiction of hearing. If we don't want to hear about Krishna Katha, then we'll be addicted to hearing about the activities of another person, whether some good politician or rich man, or nothing but some imaginary character whose activities are created in some novel or some book. So we have addiction of hearing. But such person who is not interested in Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, those kind of persons are condemned by the Lord because they are wasting their life like anything. Next, Prabhupada mentioned the elevation of a devotee and elevation of an ordinary person. Ordinary person who is following some religious rituals, doing some charity, can go to the higher planetary system. Or maybe if someone is yogi, that person can go highest to the Brahma Loka. But they can again fall down from there. But once devotee is elevated to the spiritual kingdom, then what Krishna says, Punarjanamana vidyate. He will never fall down. So that is the difference between elevation of an ordinary person or a yogi and elevation of a devotee. Further, Prabhupada mentioned why we should not go to the demigod. Take the very simple example. Putna. She didn't even have the material desire. What to speak of a spiritual desire? She even didn't have even a material desire. What was her intention? Her intention was to kill Krishna. And what Krishna did? Krishna gave her the position of the nurse in his abode. So what to speak of material desire? Even Krishna took the intention of killing Krishna himself. He took as a positive, like, okay, at least I drank milk out of her breast. So Krishna felt obliged and he gave the position of nurse. So by taking the shelter of lotus feet of Krishna, one can get both kind of prosperity, whether it is material or spiritual. So even if we have some material desire, why should not approach Krishna? Why should I approach demigod? Because demigod, ultimately, who from where he's getting final sanction? Krishna only. So why not to approach the final approver rather than the secondary layer or tertiary level approval? Okay. Further, Prabhupada mentioned how to be advanced in transcendental knowledge and renunciation. So some less intelligent person, they says, okay, bhakti yoga or devotional service, it is meant for a person who are not advanced in transcendental knowledge. They don't know, or they are not in the renunciation order. They are not sannyasis. See their devotee, they are having chappan bhoga. What kind of renunciation they have? They don't know anything. But it is not like that. The fact is that if one engage in devotional service of the Lord with his full heart, he does not have to attempt separately to practice detachment or to get advance in transcendental knowledge. And the very classic example is Mrigrari, the hunter. So this fellow Mrigrari, he used to kill the animal, half. He will not allow him to allow animals to die immediately. He will kill in such a way, and he will feel in some fun seeing the half-killed animal flapping on the ground. But after meeting the Narad Muni, see the transformation. The same person, when he was walking, he was making sure even the ant should not come under his feet. Did he, Mrigrari, did he no, follow the speculation or Gyan path or yogi path? No. Just he met Narad Muni and Narad Muni gave him spiritual instruction. He was just following that. And the result was he was advanced in the transcendental knowledge also, and he was a he got this ability of renunciation also. Yeah. Further, Prabhupada mentioned how devotee can be equipoised. Because devotee accept everything in the spiritual vision. Whatever he does the satisfaction for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Devotee doesn't have any personal attachment. On the other hand, the other person or materialistic person, they have the personal attachment with the things they are doing. They are putting effort towards something. They have great attachment with them. And if it doesn't go in the right direction, they get distressed. Sometimes they even commit suicide. They couldn't take it. Oh, it didn't happen what I wanted. But devotee, on the other hand, is very equipoised because he knows that he's doing for Krishna, and whatever, if something is not going in the way he wants, that means Krishna has something plan B, and that way he's always equipoised. Further, Prabhupada mentioned about the visible and invisible feature of the Lord. So, impersonal effulgence or Brahma Jyoti, which covers the face of the Supreme Lord, or the four-handed Vishnu form, which yogi sees in their heart. These two features of the Lord are called invisible feature because one cannot serve there. There is no personal relationship in these two features. So Prabhupada mentioned these two features as an invisible feature. Impersonal effulgence and four-hour form yogi sees in his heart. On the other hand, whatever devotee had the relationship or has the relationship with the Lord is visible because he can serve the Lord directly. He can see the Lord. He can touch the Lord. So this is the visible feature of the Lord, the Bhagwan feature. But the Paramatma feature for the yogis or impersonal effulgence are invisible feature. Further, Prabhupada mentioned how the path of yogi and philosopher are difficult, and on the other hand, the path of devotional service is how it is easy for everyone. And finally, Prabhupada mentioned how to get out of this material world. So once one enter into this material existence, it is very difficult to get out. Unless that jiva or living entity receives the mercy of a guru, spiritual master, and Krishna, it is not possible for him to get out of this material world. And we are very fortunate that by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, we have so many current acharyas, the spiritual masters, one can aspire with, one can take shelter of. And we have so many temples around the world where we can go and perform this devotional service in person. We are so fortunate, and this is